They could have had him backed up inside the 20, maybe as far back as inside the 10-yard line. So it's a good play by Rogers right there. And you see Paul Zamuda, special teams coach, getting high fives on the sideline. They did a good job there. The key there is to catch the ball in the air, don't fumble it.
Well, it's Carlson. There's Rogers, the young sophomore. He did a good job. This was a protection of the ball. He caught the ball in the air and went down right there, which they will take. We said at the outset that Carlson was interested in a four-quarter effort, as they will have just under 6.5 minutes here remaining in the fourth quarter. They've played a pretty good game thus far, and I'm sure it's in the back of the mind of the coaches. They really don't want to make a mistake and throw this ball game away.
Let's go down to our field reporter, Jay Strassman.
On that punt, the Melvindale coaches were really upset with Ken Bruno. They wanted him to punt away from Jeff Rogers. He didn't do it. He punted the ball right to him. And luckily for Bruno and for the Melvindale coaches, Rogers caught up with a knee on the ground. Back upstairs to Bob and Rick.
On a night like tonight, though, with that swirling wind, I don't think you have much control over where that thing goes once you kick it. Especially if it's a spiral and a pretty decent kick, because if it's up high enough, that's where the wind's going to blow it.
Yeah, I think what they were trying to hope for, though, the Melvindale Cardinals coaching staff, they were trying to maybe kick the ball away from him and maybe get some type of a coffin corner kick, a roll on the kick of some sort. We see Scott Ash and the rest of his coaching staff, Ron Adams, Mike Dawson, Chris Wolf, and their strength coach is Mike Slater. Carlson Marauders, their head coach Jim McDonald, Ron Pascuzzi, Jim Kolek, Greg Savichin, and Paul Zamuda. And keep it on the ground. It's been working all night. Brett LeBate carries a couple of cards on his back for 2 extra yards. And a big gain on first down. That'll bring up second down and about 3.
Brett LeBate has worked all night as well, as he's been the workhorse for Carlson. Look at the tough inside running. Now, when he gets hit, he protects the ball, and then always driving for whatever additional yardage he can get. Fine back.
7-6, 5:53 remaining here in the fourth quarter. I'm Bob Zahari along with Rick Chapo, Jay Strasser on the field, Dan Blakeney directing in the truck. We've got the A1 #1 crew on the scene tonight for TV3 Sports. Dan Sweats breaks it to the outside. He's got the first down, and he'll get chopped just as he gets out over the 35-yard line.
Sean No, number 81, was there to make the hit on him. Big Dan Sweats, though, when he headed for the corner, he looked like a tailback. I don't know why, but he had deceptive quickness getting to the outside, and it's good for a first down. Now, the question is, when Big Dan Sweats gets the ball and heads for the outside, you have to ask yourself yes or no if you're a defensive back, and whether or not you're going to come out to try to put the lick on him. Sean No, though, number 81, was there to take his knees out from under him. First down for Carlson.
And one thing you never can say about a Melvindale Cardinals, they're not a hard-nosed, tough football player. They'll always come to play. They might not always win, but you know the history of Melvindale football. You know that they've won more often than not. That's for sure.
Brand new program. It's back on the rise, getting tremendous community support. Junior football, their junior high program is excellent. Junior varsity. They're planning on fielding a quality team here for years to come.
Jim McDonald on the other side, he's got to deal with pay per play. So every one of these kids out here you see playing football for Gibraltar Carlson, and it takes $75 out of their wallet to even play the game of football. Now that's what I call real abuse. Here's LeBate, and he's near a first down. Once again, Chris Ellison has made some fine open field tackles on LeBate. It's going to bring up, no, they give him the first down, so it will be 1st and 10 out over the 45-yard line for Gibraltar Carlson. They keep that clock moving, so maybe this is why Scott Ash was afraid of giving the ball back to Carlson. Was afraid they're going to keep the ball and run the clock out on him, and that's what they're doing so far. There you see the time and score. We're in the fourth quarter. And it's LeBate again. Big pickup of 14 yards and another first down for the Marauders.
He's like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps going and going, and Melvindale's defense just keeps getting more tired. They must be exhausted right now. They have been bullied by that offensive line of Carlson all night. As big holes and a number 21 coming at you with some speed and power as they are taking it right up the middle on Melvindale, and they don't seem to be able to do much about it. As time now also becoming a factor as we're approaching the 3